Hey, you guys. Have you seen the stupid? Have you ever seen so much stupid go to such a small channel like mine? Have you ever seen people attack somebody online like I get attacked? I got like 450 subscribers, but I'll have 30 people, thanks to Burger Douche and a couple other channels, that just like to attack me. People that don't know me, total strangers, attack me, who say I'm not targeted while they're targeting me. Does that seem odd? I'm not being targeted, but I'm being targeted by the ones that are targeting me while they're at the moment they're targeting. Does that seem strange to anybody else but me? I think it's very, very, very strange. Very, very, very strange. Give me a second, I'll get back with you. So these geniuses, especially James Stern, gotta be the dumbest Yankee I've ever heard of. Go back to the comments and read what he says. God, he is dumb. I mean, literally. He tries so hard to sound like he knows what he's talking about. I record police and I ask permission to film fire trucks, so I'm smart. I know the courts. What a moron. Listen, guys. James Stern from DeKalb, Georgia. You can see his Facebook page. On his Facebook page, he's just got one picture of a fire truck. That's the only thing on his page is a picture of it's like a 2-ton fire truck. That's the capacity, at least. That's all he's got on his page. So, probably Yankee trash for sure. Moved from New York down here. Sold his dump up there and comes down here and acts like he's a millionaire, like he can run us and tell us what to do, and he's smarter than all us. He's so dumb, he would literally put in print, which has been screenshotted, slander and libel against me. He would literally do that by stating what he considers factual information. We'll start with the one stupid thing he said. You can't get a continuance on the ticket. What? I mean, here we go again. I told you guys I had a ticket. I told you the whole scenario. And then it was like, oh, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You made it all up. So then I go to the courthouse, get the paperwork, show you the paperwork. Well, no, you didn't get a continuance. I checked the court dockets, and you ain't nowhere on it because you didn't get a continuance because they don't give continuances for traffic tickets. And then the big ones. I was busted for manufacturing methamphetamines, and the state took everything I had, and that's how I lost everything. I guess he missed the body camera footage where we went back, where I sued and got my belongings, my motorcycles was left on my bikes, where I got all that stuff back, and I got a check for $17,000. I guess when I actually sued and I went to court and I had the cops on the stand, I guess he missed that whole part of me, of all that happening. Now, Nikki Haley, I'm going to converge over to politics. Nikki Haley says everybody should have to be registered to be online. Now, that's just as dangerous as registering your guns, because then they can come for you for whatever you say. Well, there should be some accountability for what people say. Because I can guarantee you there ain't a man, especially a man like James Stern, who would bump his gums to me without the anonymity of Facebook. And by the way, your face is not hard to find, and everything about you is public information. So if you own a home in DeKalb County, Georgia, it shows up on the GIS survey. It shows the home you own. It shows everything. I can bring up the vehicle you drive. I can get any picture's been taken in Google by you, referenced by you. I can get. So, I mean, it's not like, oh, I'm hiding over here, you can't find me. And then, of course, they'll say, I ain't scared of you. I just don't put my business online because I like to attack people like you online. So he wove this wretched tale of, I got busted for meth. They took my motorcycles, they took my home, and they took my business. They took all that. I guess they took that too, but it's still here. The motorcycle, it's over there. All my buildings for my house. That's one of my buildings I had. What else? Because James Stern thinks that the government would never do anything to you. Did you hear what came out the other day? Blaze News had the information. A reporter for Blaze News was able to sit in and look at the videos from January 6th. Now, new information came out. Remember the pipe bombs? It said there were 2 pipe bombs, one at the Republican Command Center and one at the DNC. Pipe bombs. They were found within 15 minutes of each other, and they were found around 20 minutes of when the first supposed invasion happened at the Capitol. So the same guy goes around town and sets these 2 pipe bombs off, okay? And the DNC, where the DNC was, that's what the Vice President, Kamala Harris, was in the DNC at that time. So a random stranger walks up and says, hey, golly gee, looky there, there's a pipe bomb, and walks over here and shows the guys there's a pipe bomb, and those guys are like, oh, it's cool, we'll get it. Sits there while they know there's a pipe bomb 20 feet away. No rush, no hurry. And then 10 kids come up, walk right beside the pipe bomb and keep on walking. Oh, we're not in any hurry. And then we find out that it was a Capitol policeman that found the pipe bombs. The same Capitol Police that was inviting people into the Capitol. The same Capitol Police, over 200 Capitol Police and federal agents, FBI, that helped the coup on January 6th. Those same people. So with all that information, we're supposed to believe that what's happening to me and thousands of others, is our imagination. When I told you 10 years ago about directed energy weapons, and I said they could fry everything and there won't be anything but trees and grass left. When I told you that, everybody said, they don't have them weapons. Those don't exist. That's your imagination. You live in Star Trek or something? And then you see what happened in Maui. And people like James Stern said, well, I've talked to firefighters and they say, yeah, that was a really hot wildfire. It was really, really hot. People like James Stern don't believe they have weather weapons. You guys didn't hear about this, because I'm linked in, you're not. Acapulco, Mexico. Acapulco in Mexico, one of the famous destinations for vacations in the world. Well, if you didn't know, a Category 5 hurricane hit it last week, and it demolished it. It leveled the place. You know what was odd about it? Well, first thing odd is you didn't hear a word about it on TV. You heard nothing about Acapulco. Nothing. But the other strange coincidence that happened was there wasn't a drop of rain. What? The hurricanes went out in the water, and then they picked up the cold water with the hot air, and that made this giant storm, and it'd bring a storm surge over, and it would flood everything. Well, yeah, that's normally what happens, except this time, they say it was 300-mile-an-hour wind that happened in Acapulco. So when I told you 10 years ago they had weather weapons, James Stern said, no, they don't. It's just climate change. Climate change, just like I'm a meth addict, right? Really? That's the best you got? I would render a guess that James has never even met a person on methamphetamine. I bet he has no idea. He probably watches CSI at night and he just, this guy's he's a meth addict, and he's probably watching Miami Vice and he's thinking all these bad things about, there are multimillionaires that are using meth and they're perfectly fine. Now I'm not saying anything positive about methamphetamines, except the fact that the U.S. government's the one that brought it in. I mean, we, with Operation Paperclip, which James Stern knows nothing about, we took the Nazi scientist from Nazi Germany. And with Operation Paperclip, we divided them up between us and Russia. We bought them, brought them here, gave them freedom, put them in homes, and gave them jobs working for us in the defense industries. But they ain't got those kind of things. Like MK Ultra. MK Ultra doesn't exist. That's imaginary. They ain't got no mind control. While Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk came out last week, and Mark Zuckerberg especially says that they have, I don't want to use the word completed, but they now can not only read your mind, but now they can put commercials in your mind as you sleep. They did say that they have a computer now that recognizes the words that are going through your mind. Yet I told you about that 10 years ago, and James Stern said, no, that's that methamphetamines talking. It's meth. Meth has got you thinking that. This moron that thinks you can't get a continuance for a speeding ticket says that everything I own got stolen by the feds because I got busted for making meth. Well, here's one for you, James. When you're in Georgia, DeKalb, Georgia, taking pictures of fire trucks and blowing cops around the back of the department, once you run my name and get my criminal history and post that on with all your photographs of James Stern, Sterne, Facebook page has the fire truck on it. I volunteer as a cameraman for the EMS, first responders, fire department, and police officers. I ask their permission and I take photos. So, Jamie, go there and run my name and get all the information. And you won't see anything about methamphetamines. You'll see anything about hard drugs. You'll see that when I was 17 or 18 years old, I was set up by a corrupt cop here that killed an innocent black man about 5 miles from where I'm at. You'll see that, where they took their drugs, gave it to what I thought was a friend of mine, and he brought it to my house and put it in my house. And then I took his drugs and took them back to him. Not even all of them, just a little bit of it. That's all I did. A young kid took this plant marijuana. I took this plant here that that Kevin Fiklowski and Marcus O'Mara, I think that's his name. Not in his name. I got it wrong. Fiklowski, and there's another one, but yeah, killed an innocent black man up here in the hood. But they took plants and brought me plants and said, hey, bring some of that plant back to me. And that got me 2 felonies. And then while I was in there under arrest, they said, just come on, buy drugs for us. Just buy drugs for us and you'll get off scot-free with a misdemeanor. And I said, no. No. If I was dumb enough to get myself in it, I'll be dumb enough to get myself out of it. They picked me up. They slammed me on my face. They hog-tied me and took me off and put me in a cell for 2 weeks because I wasn't going to be a rat snitch government prick for them like James Stern. I don't deep throat the boot. I don't. And that's why I hate law enforcement, because you know what they do? They create more crime, because as long as they have more crime, they get more dollars. And as long as they got more dollars, they can take more innocent Americans and take away their freedoms, and take away their rights to vote, and take away their right to bear arms to protect and defend themselves against a tyrannical government. That's the difference between me and James Stern. It isn't methamphetamines. It's the difference between having a backbone, a spine, and being a cop-sucking, boot-licking weasel that would rather blow the blue than stand up for truth, justice, and the American way, which there isn't anymore. So, Jamie, Georgia ain't like, well, DeKalb County ain't like 5.5, 6 hours. I could probably make it sooner. Your call. Run me. Post it for the world. I'll share whatever you put up on my channel, my criminal history, since you think it's littered with so much criminal activity. But I can assure you, every single person that challenges my honesty and my truth, every single one will watch the video when I prove them wrong, and they will not say a word. And then they'll pop up 2 videos later and start popping off again. Just like my Harleys, just like my targeting, just like everything that I've ever said on here. Every single time. I'll back it up. You know why? You know how I get away with not lying so much is because I don't lie. You don't have to have a good memory as long as you tell the truth. That's what Judge Judy says. As sexy as she is. Anyway, don't lick the boot. Bareback the blue. What's that James Freeman says? Back the blue till it happens to you. You won't escape, James. You won't. When the government turns on you, they're not going to you're not going to be part of their team. I'm sorry. You can lick their boots and blow them behind the back of the station all day, every night. You can listen to their scanners. You can cheer them on. You can wear the blue line sticker on the back of your truck. But when the time comes, they will gladly put one in you and laugh about it and get a paid vacation more than they would ever defend your rights to be you. You are why America's collapsing. You are why America is being destroyed, because you'll sit idly by and approve of anything that this corrupt government does with its police enforcers. You will gladly cheer them on in all of their evil. And yet, as I've watched the comment sections for the last 10 years, when I was one of the very first people to criticize law enforcement, and every person in those comment streams were telling me how, oh, you're just a criminal, and you don't like it when you get in trouble, and you're just mad because you hate cops, and you're not a good person because you don't back the ones that protect us. And you know what's happened, Jamie? As I've sat back for 10 years and I've watched the comments, because I was the only one commenting, I was the only one standing up. And every week and every month and every year, as more people are holding this little black box and they're recording law enforcement all around this country and all over the world, we see corruption after murder, after abuse, after civil rights violation, after absolute theft, and after injuring those that are weaker and seemingly nothing to us, and they get away with it. And now the people are woke, or people like me who are awakened to the corruption and the evil going in inside. You know that Hitler could not have done to the Jews what he did if he didn't have the police force, the Gestapo, behind him. So as our government collapses and they give more power and more power and more power to their enforcers like law enforcement, you're in danger. And by the way, if you haven't heard the Supreme Court case, I'm sure you don't know what the Supreme Court is, James Stern. But let me tell you, the Biden administration opened up the razor wire on the border in Texas. They cut it, and Texas came back and put more razor wire. And then they put up storage containers, and they put up walls trying to keep the illegal invaders out. Now, Greg Abbott, he's just pretending. He doesn't mean what he's doing, but they put it up. And then they sent the National Guard from all over America, from, I think, Florida, and I think Ohio, and I think maybe Montana. About 4 or 5 states sent their National Guard down to the Texas border to stand up to the feds, which was trying to bring in more of these terrorists. And you know what? Supreme Court ruled 5-4 that the federal government has the ability to control our borders, even though states' rights should be supreme to federal rights. So they now have just given a green light to every third world terrorist nation, 162 so far, of over 20 million people the past 3 years that are here and that are gladly saying, we're going to kill you. These people are saying, we're going to kill you. James, guess what? The cops will defend them before they defend you. But you just keep on taking pictures. And if you want some close-ups of me, I'm so easy to find. God bless. Have a wonderful day.